Next on the item is informational items, no action required, is item 6.1, potential school bond on March of 2024. The board will receive an update on discussions between the Livermore Valley Unified School District and the City of Livermore and LARPD.
So this item, bond March 2024, it's moving a little. It's moving in directions that I can't always predict. And so with as much control as I'm trying to maintain, the items that are being estimated, if you will, by the school bond estimating team or the bond program team for us are the Bothwell, Max Bear, and the intent is to make that Max Bear a destination for the Little League World Series that they'd be happy with to commit to long term. Bill Payne as planned. So they have the Bill Payne master plan that was put on the shelf that has a $27 million price tag.
That's old.
Springtown Community Center with gym and classrooms and lobby service area. And Maynison Swim and Rec Center, a redo of that facility. Those were the ones that I threw out everything we had, and these were the ones that the city and the school district felt, and frankly, I felt were the biggest benefit to the community because they serve underserved areas or they fix issues that we have with Bothwell that could serve the arts. Now, the funding that has been talked about was up to $500,000. The funding capacity that the school district has.
Would it be? You said million.
We can buy much for $500,000.
I'm cold. $500 million. But Superintendent Van Schack said they have the funding ability or capacity up to $650 million. But at our meeting at Intergov, he was at $450.
Mm-hmm.
So what the engineers are doing and what the bond team is doing is they're putting together estimates for us to bring to our boards and see if that's even something that we would support.
They're estimating our projects?
They're doing a rough estimation of
Who's doing this?
the school district.
Okay.
That's how fast this thing's moving, and it's a little bit complicated, but so as part of this, the next step is to bring this discussion with more information to the full board, to our board, to see if we support moving forward. At the same time, we should likely be discussing if we don't support moving forward with a school district bond. If we were to do something ourselves, I believe our threshold is 67%. The school district, if they did a school bond, is 55%. So we would be jumping onto them. They, according to Superintendent Van Schack, have I forget the number he said, so don't quote me, but he said they have in the billions of dollars of future needs. So they're going to continue doing this. They need us this time because we bring it potentially.
Well, we're wrapping on the other side of the package.
Yeah, of a different voting bond that they did not get in the last bond that failed. So I'll leave it open for discussion. I know this is moving quickly and I know the board does not like to have me making decisions on their behalf. And I'm trying not to, but I did try to pull from our existing list of wish lists.
Is there any type of timeline? I mean, we moved it forward now from October or November up to March. So
So
things are moving quicker.
they want to avoid the November election because it's gonna be messy. And although it's great turnout, there's gonna be a lot on the ballot,
Yeah, too much on that.
probably too much on the ballot. They want to move to March, they said, as we move forward, probably November is now the cutoff to decide whether we move forward or we push it into later, whether March can work, based on the data, based on the polling that they're gonna be doing, a company that they work with to do that, the city's familiar with as well. This is the school district has an ongoing staff program just to balance and to build. I personally think we're still in the exploratory phase. We have not committed too deep. We've been at the table the whole time. But as I said, I think they're doing more work without necessarily including me along the way. I to be honest with the board, I've been catching up a little bit. I was surprised a couple of times with the internet. I was surprised by the movement to March 2024,
Right.
and I was surprised by the amount reduction.
By the way,
The amount that they reduced.
Ah.
So they went from just under 5, meaning $4.99 to $4.50, which obviously cuts us out a big chunk if the school district hasn't changed their number. One of the things we are evaluating, and Jill and her team did it, was that just today?
It was just today.
Was what the use of school district fields looks like in our need. If we,
what?
in our need assessment,
Oh, okay.
yeah. If the school district giving up facilities that we want to use reduces our need, then obviously we need, our needs change. You know, the projects that we put forward were desirous. City desired them for city services as well. They want a footprint over in Springtown where they can have us run the facility, but they can have appearances there, they can have services there. They want Mason to get a boost, to be improved. They want an aquatic center that serves the city, an additional aquatic center, and a gym in that area would be nice as well. So all of these projects, the Bothwell is integral to the discussion on arts. So they also want things that got pushed back on. They want, the city manager wanted a fire station over in Isabel neighborhood. And the mayor frankly said, well, you should have put that in the development plan for the developers to do.
So there's a whole push, I mean, there's, all I can, there's a whole bunch of, for lack of stuff going on everywhere in the city that includes, just like the one you just mentioned, the gentleman who owns that 5 hangars at the airport. There's a major contentious issue related to that, and yes, there was a whole discussion about putting in a fire station because, I mean, that's as interesting as the discussion about the fireworks. You know, you're running an airport with no services for fire anywhere in proximity, and you're using JP5.
So if I can interrupt, just to get some direction from the board, not on this item, but I'm supposed to be in Springtown in 5 minutes for this Springtown Community
Town hall.
Yeah, Ben, very
And I want to hear what the city manager is promising without coming to us first. If it's the pleasure of the board that I go to that meeting and be there as close to on time as possible, then I will leave.
can I make a
Or
comment?
I can stay.
I think you should, my personal opinion, I would suggest you get to the meeting because Ben's there. Ben called me and I had a conversation with him, and he wants us to participate because he has his own personal needs. Ben is the councilman that runs that district.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, go.
Very interesting.
Oh,
He's the
yeah,
councilman.
go, please go.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Go.
I thought we would have been
Hurry.
done by 7, so I apologize.
You know,
They did move the meeting back for us.
I know, hurry.
So I had a couple matters initiated, one was your calendar item.
Oh, okay.
And then the other was just to talk about it, we can do that another time. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Guard our interests.
Go, go, Ray.
Go, and guard our interests.
So on that note, just to round out or close hopefully, I will be, the whole, the bond issue to me, and I don't want to elongate this process, but the bond issue to me is, don't get me wrong, I support schools vehemently for all the right reasons, as most everybody does, but the fact is, I have heard ears full from everybody, including a call that lasted an hour today about the bond issue and them asking for another almost $500 million. And they just a year and a few months ago received $500 million then. So what, and I have an unfair advantage because I know many of the people that work at the district office, including my family. So I see and hear all about the numbers. And I'm concerned because are we gonna partner up with the school district and the city because they want money to do stuff? And who analyzed this and said this is going to be of great value that we're gonna spend hundreds of millions of dollars? Manage your money. This is, I pay taxes in this town just like every one of you that lives here. And I'm concerned about us ponying up to the bar with some other people that can't manage their money. And I'm also concerned about all of a sudden it went from November up to March because they somehow in talking to the Teachers Association, they got their own issues that they don't feel like they're being compensated. I get that conversation. I helped them get some of their money back. But the fact is that I'm concerned about us stepping up to the plate, doing a bond with, just because we're the wrapping on the outside because they can't get it approved, because we have a better name in the public than they do. It's not to say we shouldn't do it but at the same time, we're the third leg and we're the shortest of the three legs of the stool. We're not getting as much as anywhere near as much as anybody else. So that being said, and I'm not trying to get on a soapbox, but my goodness, this is a little bit ridiculous, I think, and equally important, we're in the middle of dealing with another issue related to revenues and trying to get that under control, and hopefully, if we do put our best foot forward and we do the MSR and LAFCO looks our direction, we'll be in good shape to stop the bleeding on that front and hopefully get some money coming back, and we don't need a bond. Other than to maybe do some, if we're gonna do the sports complex, we get commercial paper or something like that to fund it. There's lots of ways of going on that. But a bond, you're gonna go hand in hand to the public and say, oh, could you give me 50 million because I wanna do X, Y, and Z? I'm just not into taking money that doesn't belong to us, but that's my 2 cents. So I'll move that to any more comments by any other directors? Sorry. Director Pierpont?
I could, but I won't.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that.
No, I'm not, for a living.
Sure. Director Pawelczak?
Nope.
Director First? Director Mary Alice Fulton? Okay. Enough said, that item is closed. All right, committee reports.